Hey guys, welcome back. Today's the 21st of October here in Australia, the second month of spring, and today we've got some bad news about the red hive. We'll have a quick look and we'll get into it. So for those who have been following the red hive, this was originally an overwintered nuke which I took from a top bar hive, and it's been expanding this year. As you can see, this top box was put on 4 weeks ago and it's really booming. So we'll get into the bottom box here, and there's never any good news in these videos, as the thumbnail suggests. So upon looking at this hive a couple of weeks ago, I suspected that it may have had American foulbrood, but I couldn't actually find any cells to test. So in this video here, you'll see that we find some American foulbrood, which leads basically to the demise of this hive. So I'll shake these off and I'll have a bit of a look, and you can have a close-up look of how I do the test. So looking at these cells, they all look pretty good. But we do come across one on this other side, which looks a bit suspicious. See that perforation in that cell? That's the bees chewing the top off because the larvae is dead. So what we'll do here is a matchstick test. So we get a matchstick out, stick it in the hole, give it a bit of a stir around, and you'll see how stringy it is. So that's a confirmed field test of American foulbrood. There are other tests you can do. You can do a Vita test, which is basically the same as a pregnancy test, which I've already done on a couple of my other hives. You stir up the cell, pop it into a jar, shake it, and then put it onto a pad, and it comes up negative or positive. You can also send a smear away to be tested in a lab, but in my case, it's not necessary. I've already had a couple of cases of this, so this is a confirmation for me. So there are a couple of ways that I can euthanize this hive. Previously, I've used fuel on a rag, which, although it is successful, I did find some live bees a day later, and a substantial number of them. So when you speak to the Victorian Department of Agriculture, they mention using fuel, but you can actually also use soapy water. So I quickly pop off the lid and start drenching the bees with the soapy water. A few bees escape, but I'm not too worried about these. I do it twice, just to be sure. Now, just for clarity, I want people to understand I don't want to do this, and I don't enjoy doing it either. So if you think for a second that I take pleasure in taking these hives down, I don't. I've always wanted more hives, healthy hives, and strong hives. Never to kill them. Now, my previous hives that have had AFB have been in top bar hives, and although I couldn't gamma radiate them and I had to burn them, I've recently also, through my own initiative, found out that I don't have to burn the boxes of this hive. What I can do is I can hot wax dip them. As long as the wax is at 160 degrees and they stay under the wax for at least 10 minutes, which will either kill the American foulbrood disease or encapsulate it. So that's good news. No one wants to burn boxes. But as you can see here, it's not an easy job putting all these perfectly formed frames, brand new hardware into bags, knowing that they're going to be destroyed. I've spoken to a lot of people over the last couple of months about American foulbrood, and from what I can gather, the main reason I got American foulbrood in my hives was because they were strong. We had an early spring build-up with an enormous amount of bees in the top bar hive and in this nucleus, which was already infected, and that's the main reason. My bees had gone out and been robbing the weaker hives over the winter, which were probably infected with American foulbrood, and then brought it back. It's just unfortunate. It's also a part of beekeeping that it's good to find out early in your career. I will now be introducing a series of measures to stop transmitting any diseases from hive to hive. You'll notice in my videos from now on, my gloves will probably be wet as I'll be washing them between hives. Just in some soapy water, but just to remove some wax, honey, any other residue that's on them. I'm also going to start washing my hive tool between inspections. That way I'll stop that transmission. So there's just an enormous amount of bees in this hive. It's so, distressing to have to do this. And it's not an easy job either. Just take note of how many bees I spill when I'm trying to put this into this bag. I do clean them up though, as I don't want these other bees to get infected. I wash down all the areas that have been touched, wrap up the boxes, and send them away to get wax dipped. And here we are a day later. All the boxes have been wax dipped. I also wax dipped a nucleus that I had, ready for some new bees. I've spoken to my local supplier and we've got a nucleus which will be here in a couple of days. So there'll be a new video with a new red queen. Thanks for watching, guys. Please subscribe, throw us a like or a comment. See you on the next one.